Right, now this is the little Diddy Palm handset. You can tell by the size of my hand. And let me just put it next to the new Xiaomi, or the Mi 8, which is here. And you can see the size difference in the two phones together. If I hold them against each other, you can see just how much of a size difference. This is a 3.3 inch screen on the Palm. And it's a diddy little thing, and to be honest, you wouldn't even know it was in your pocket most of the time. So yeah, the specs on this are, it's a 3.3 inch LCD screen, which is 1280 by 720. It's got that cool little menu system that I've shown off in a previous video on here. We've got the Corning Gorilla Glass on the front and on the back. The back is lovely and shiny, as you can see here, with the Palm logo and the camera there at the top, which is 12 megapixels on the rear. There's an 8 megapixel front camera too as well. I've included some video and some images on the review I'm going to be doing of this. Now it's got Wi-Fi, it's got Bluetooth. Let me just show you what else it has. We've also got so the CPU is a 1.4 gigahertz octa-core Qualcomm chip with an Adreno 505 GPU. It's got 3 gigs of RAM. Let's see if I can get to the settings here and show you some of this. 32 gigs of internal storage. You can't boost that, so there's no slot or anything here for micro SD or anything. It's dust and water resistant. Got GPS, you know, all the usual stuff, 4G connectivity on here. So we're going to system. You can see here the keyboard, and it's called a PVG 100E. Let's have a look. So we're going to system, network options. Okay, go into updates, storage. There we go. So we've got 33% of that 32 gigs is being used at the moment. So that gives me 10 gigs has been used. I haven't used a great deal in photos or anything. So what I can also show you, obviously you got a smaller screen, so data entry is definitely crucial for this. Now this is a lovely menu system on whatever app you install. So you can see I've installed Strava on here, which is great for putting this on your bike. You can attach this to your bike, you can attach it to your arm. What they're selling this as, and you can see here on the top here, there's this little so I can get this dragged down a bit. There's a life mode. You see that life mode there? That will basically reduce the level of interruption. So it says here, look, with life mode you won't receive calls or texts when your Palm screen is off. Okay, so it basically stops your phone interrupting your life. Only when you're ready to get those calls and the messages and everything else that comes through flooding on this phone will they arrive. So you can turn it on and then it'll go, oh, I better go and check for messages. So when I'm using it here and it's in my hand and I have the screen on, it will go ahead and check the texts and the messages and everything else and open the floodgates. However, when the screen's off like that, it won't interrupt your life. It'll just stay in your pocket. This is so small. It will sit in your pocket and it will really not disturb your life. To be honest, this should have gone back to Vodafone. This is available on Vodafone for I think about £31 a month. I should have given this back to Vodafone about a week ago. I have had it in my pocket for the last 2 days in my jeans. I didn't even realise it was in my pocket. It's such a thin Diddy thing. It's about the size of a credit card, perhaps even a little bit smaller. So yeah, I was going to go about data entry, wasn't I? So here, when you go into an app, it's a standard Android app. You can install everything that you could normally see on an Android phone. It does everything that an Android phone can do. Just obviously the screen's a bit smaller. So the keyboard here, you can download big keyboards with bigger text, but it's fairly accurate. You know, I mean, I'm a big fan of. So if I want to write news, I use the swiping system here like that, and that is fairly accurate. If you want to type in each and every letter, it's also again fairly accurate. Yes, there's a smaller screen, but it's not going to be too much of a burden to get data entry in there. If you're doing a huge amount of data entry, if you're writing a book or something on the way to on the way to work on the bus, you might have a few problems. But what Palm have also done, if I turn off the screen here and sort of wake it up, there's this thing at the bottom, if I can remember how to get to it, it's down here somewhere, and it will let you do a fast sort of, you can write on the screen here, and it will let you get straight into certain apps. So let me just see if I can find that thing. Let's go back. Back. Where was it now? I did it this morning without even trying. So that swipe up does that. That's cool. I should have really prepared this. You can swipe up on the camera. Ah, there we go. So here, now if I want to get to a certain app, so let's say I want to speak to somebody called Bill. I'll just draw the letter B, like that. And it comes up with everything associated with the letter B. So Bill Lauber, Billy G, Blaz, who I used to know from work, and the BBC Sounds app, and also the Battery app. Likewise, if I write the letter E, and I'm doing it very badly, that doesn't look, I can see Emily, Emma, and various other people on there. So it's great. So if you want to get into an app like Chrome, or do a very bad letter C, there's Chrome. So I'll go straight into Chrome. So that's a good way of navigating through this phone and getting around it easier. In the US, this is sold as like a companion device, which I think it does very well. There is, for someone like me who uses their phone a lot, I do tend to want to get a slightly bigger screen. So it is up to you on whether you're prepared to sacrifice that screen real estate and use this as your daily driver for all of the time. Now, in America, like I touched on, I think it was on Verizon, they were using it as a companion device. So you had your phone and then you had this. So it's a bit like a replacement for, say, an Apple Watch. You know, an Apple Watch or an Android Watch will let you know if you've got any emails and stuff. It'll flash up, but you tend to then get your main phone out to interact with those emails. This sort of does the same thing. So you keep your main phone perhaps in a bag or at home or whatever, and then this just lets you know the updates on what's going on. You don't necessarily have to deal with them right there. It's a good little way of keeping up to date and also keeping your work-life balance or your social media life balance in check. You can change all this screen the way it's laid out here. If I go back and I do something tricky, where is it now? I think if I press manage, there you go, you can manage these icons, move them around. I've done a USB on the go, which I'll show you. I'll tack it onto the end of this video. Somebody wanted me to try the USB on the go because he's got USB-C at the bottom there, and you can actually put a USB pen in the bottom, and you can watch movies on there, although not very you can't put super high resolution videos on there, only sort of fairly low resolution videos. But I have had it running Plex as well. I've got Plex on here, and I can log into my let's just do that off there. I can log into my server, and I might be able to. Let's go into live TV. I don't think I've actually set anything up. Whether this is going to work over 3G, it's very doubtful indeed. Movies, is that going to work? I don't think it will. But yeah, you can set up, you can watch little TV shows and stuff on here. Is it going to work? I don't think it will. 3G. Remember when we used to use 3G? Let's have a look. Newscast. Ooh, loading very slowly. Apple cuts production. So yeah, it's perfectly usable. Your big choice here is whether you want to, that's crashed, whether you want to use this as your full-time main device or whether you're going to be using it as a companion device. Maybe you can have this as your work mobile, or maybe if your employers have just bought you a shiny new iPhone or a shiny new Samsung Galaxy S9, then you can maybe use this as your personal mobile. Who knows? But it's really up to you. It's a very cool little device, I must admit. The operative word there is little. It's whether you're going to prepare to give up that real estate. Other than that, if you don't mind, then it is brilliant. And I like the life mode here. You can go in and you can choose the advanced options on here. So you catch up with your life just by going into the advanced display, going into the phone rather, and turning it on. I'm reading what's on the screen. So you can see here the apps which can send notification in life mode when your screen turns back on. So you can reduce the amount of clutter, full stop. But so yeah, if you turn that off, then you won't receive any interruptions. But yeah, that's the Palm, and get it on Vodafone, and I must give them a big thank you for loaning it to me, because I've kept it for far longer than I should have. It's a very nice little phone. You can see how small it is. Look at that diddy little phone. It's just like your normal phone has been shrunk in the wash.